Wednesday night, February 3rd, 2021. And we're going to do viewer game analysis tonight. Yay! If you're watching on YouTube, you can watch live on Twitch at twitch.tv/GM Benjamin Finegold. Right, Karen? Karen agrees. Spencer's finishing up his lesson, and so forth. Mainly and so forth. We have a new system for submitting games. Some of you didn't submit the games right, but I gave you a break. The PGNs didn't work properly, or they weren't in PGN. But most of you did it right, which is shocking and appalling. Yeah. Hey, Bishop Takes. Hooray. Let me refresh stream. Spencer's doing a Zoom lecture tonight on tactics in the end games. Maybe some of you were there. If you're not there, raise your hand. And so forth. Mainly and so forth. Let's see, what's my phone saying? Something. Wow, I went live the exact second Benjamin Bach went live. So I guess it's all about the Benjamins tonight. Never realized that. So if you're trying to go to Benjamin Bach's stream, you went to the wrong Benjamin. Sorry. Yay, Combropulus Michael. Let's see, who's streaming? You're streaming, you're not streaming, etc. If you're not streaming, raise your hand. I think today's the last day of Negreanu versus Polk. I got Perrier, which I'm finishing, and I have San Pellegrino, which I haven't started yet. I'm not going to stream tomorrow. Karen and I are going out of town. I'll be back Friday night, stream the normal time, and Friday night I'll be on Chess TV because this particular week they're switching me from Saturday to Friday because of something they're doing Saturday. So I won't be streaming tomorrow. And so forth. Mainly and so forth. Oh yeah, Video Game Pianist is streaming. Why are you watching me then? Yeah. Gotta win something. Yeah, but think of the tax implications for Polk. Terrible. Dun, dun, dun. It's Spencer. All right, now we have more viewers because Spencer's lecture finished, etc. It's your game. Yay. I was white and beat 2,200. All right. If it was 2,200 on Lee Chess, then it's not as impressive, but still impressive. Maybe that's better than Yahoo Chess. Maybe. Possible that it's not. And so forth. Yay, we have over 100 viewers. Go viewers. So today we're going to do viewer game analysis. People submitted their games on Discord in the viewer game analysis submission channel. So you have to be a subscriber to submit a game. And then if you donate, then we'll look at your game. And if you don't donate, we'll consider it. Tisker Tasker 48 subscribe. Go Ben. Trying to learn. Good evening. Etc. And don't forget it. Mainly, etc. The more you donate, the more likely we'll analyze your game. Also, if you didn't donate, the analysis won't be very good. But if you did, it'll be like you're a mixture of Kasparov and Morphy when they were on their game. Right?
I head out.
Where are you going?
Home.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Yeah. They can't see you, though.
Yeah.
It's Karen.
Hello.
That's right. Lead Chess Games barely analysis. Yeah.
What are people doing?
They're, it said I had 110, now I have 77. I don't know.
Hey, JJ Watt.
Who's better, JJ Watt or JJ Watt? And what about TJ Watt? Those are your favorite football players?
No. Hey, in accordance 7.
What happened?
I was having a hard time reading that.
Mm-hmm.
Why does everybody get such hard names?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Man, I can't spell Magnus Carlsen correctly. That's how I know it's my stream. Yay. Okay, let's begin the analysis so I can get out of here. All right. The first game, people have numbers in their handles. Kangaroo 55 versus CL Smith 15. Okay, if you don't have a number in your name, I guess that's not good. Okay, and I think, let's see, I think he said what the time control was, but, I read it like 5 hours ago. Let's see, what's Kangaroo's name? Kangaroo? Let's see, what does that say? Talk to the audience. This is always death. Let's see, J Crab donated something, but I can't see it. No. But thanks for the donation, even though I can't see it. I blame Karen. This was 15 plus 10 this game, played on Lee Chess. So that's the truth hurts. All right, let me see how much the donation was since it wasn't clear. $10, hooray. Hooray for everybody. Thanks for the donation. Yes, $1,000 as long as you put the decimal between the, yeah, exactly. Bishop takes, what else? Oh, he subscribed to tier 3. Wow, now I'll sit up. That's the most expensive tier there is. Okay, so this game is 15 plus 10. Kangaroo's white. Okay, and he blundered pretty early in the game. I think it was in this position he blundered. Kangaroo played F3, never play F3. And I asked him, why did you play F3 instead of other moves? And he said, it's all the same-ish to me, etc. I don't know. They're both beginners. I don't know. 500, I guess. Okay, then castles. And I used to play this same-ish with white, and I used to play the bishop g5 variation because a friend of mine did. But then I don't have any friends anymore, so I stopped playing it. Pinky Jim 77 subscribed on tier 3. Wow. Thanks, Pinky Jim. First time to the stream? Man, tier 3. God damn. We're already at level 4 because the tier 3 subs are so expensive. Hooray. Yay. And then we have DD Derek subscribed. I asked Derek yesterday what his favorite song was, and he said, you ain't seen it in nothing yet. Yay. Go to Derek. Very good. He subscribed with Prime. That's the cheapest way to do it. It's free, I tells you. Yeah, it's Thaddeus. I like tier 1 like all the other plebes. No. Come on, Combropulus, Michael. You got paid from Rick for, something. Okay, so bishop e3. That's the normal move. Black played c5, the well-known pawn sacrifice. And white took the pawn. You can also play d5 and not take the pawn. Then you get some kind of Benoni-ish-esque position where I think I would prefer the bishop on g5, but that's me. Okay, but always take everything. That's, that's how you do it. Takes, and then you can take this and take this. Now you're attacking the e-pawn, so black usually plays knight c6. Shuddy Monkey subscribed to tier 1. I think I had this position once with black in a slow game. I think so. Yeah. But I don't really play the King's Indian all that often, but I play it sometimes. And normally I don't play this way with black. In accordance, gave 200 centidues. Hooray! The more you donate, the more money I have. Two bishops, what else? Gave 200 centidues. What else? So black's down a pawn, but, black has nice development, and white has, a lot of catching up to do. Maybe he hasn't seen the guy in a long time and they haven't spoken. And there's, lots of grandmaster kind of games here. Okay, so you played rook to d1. I'm really not familiar with this opening. That move's okay. And then he took. Maybe he won't take back. Maybe he'll play here. But Kangaroo correctly took the rook. The engine wants to take with the king. That makes sense to me. I don't think white's going to castle kingside too soon. and the knight's good on c3. Doesn't make a big difference. 300 centidues from 2 bishops, what else? 2 donations, what else? Haha, Clinton Dix gave 6 centidues based on previous streams. More 83 said more. Nobody likes me, mo. Hirsch 3 gave 201 centidues. Thank you. Big money, whammy, stop. Ninja versus Bear 96 gave $25. And his game is in the queue. So that's a good donation. JJ Wad gifted a sub. The more subs you gift, the more money I have. And so forth. Mainly and so forth. Okay, and you're banned. All right. Let's report that guy for cheating also. Kangaroo, 200 centidues. Hooray. Two bishops, what else? Gave 5 subs. What else? That's pretty good. Yeah. The more you donate, the more money I have. Yeah. Okay, so again, White's up a pawn, but White's got to catch up in development. The engine says it's about equal. Let's see, Indo Queen, go Indo Queen. OTB again, we have OTB tournaments here. I've played in a couple of Blitz tournaments, and I won them. Hooray! Yay! I have 66688 followers. I hope in poker tomorrow I get 66688. Woo-ha-ha-ha-ha! All right, because I want to buy a boat, etc. Let's see. What else? How do I make you analyze my game? Okay, 1 versus 1. Can we watch an F1 race? Someone gives you a sub. Let's see. First OTB. Yay, Indo Queen. That's right. Okay, good chat so far. Not too good. Okay, so let's continue. B6, that looks legal. Bishop E3 is good. Bishop B7, good. All right, I mean, I like being a pawn up, so I'd probably rather have white. Now, A3 is a bit slow since white doesn't have his pieces out. So I'm not a huge fan of that move. Because Now, what the engine wants to do is put pressure on this pawn because it's on a half-open file. So it wants to play rook C8 and then either knight A5 or knight E5, putting pressure on this pawn. You played rook D8 check, which is okay. So that's all right. King C2, people like to give check. Then you gave check again. Okay, sort of forcing bishop takes. Moving the king back doesn't look too exciting. So black has the 2 bishops, and white has the what else. Okay, now in this position, it looks like it was blunder time for both players. Yeah. So maybe the numbers next to their name are indicative of their ratings, but ratings actually can't go below 100, so that, Okay, so white should play either B3 or knight H3. The reason to play knight H3 is you can't play knight GE2, so the reason to play B3 is to play knight GE2. Everybody ignored this and just played knight GE2, which obviously just hangs the C pawn, and then black would have a big advantage because material would be equal and black has the 2 bishops. And I'm guessing neither player saw this. Yeah. So one of the problems, beginning players have, like these two, is they like to check and attack things instead of building a good position. So rook D8 check is check. So, black has to play it, it's check. And then black has to play this check because it's check. And then white has to take because that's, these are just, that's how they play. And here, making a building move like B3, defending the weak pawn, so knight E2 can be played, or even seeing that the pawn, is attacked after knight E2 and play knight H3, so the pawn is still defended, that's beyond the scope of the strength of the players, right? So they just played knight G2, and C.L. Smith figured a player as fine as Kangaroo would never blunder a pawn, so he didn't even consider taking that. Also, he didn't see it. So he just moved his rook back. So actually, in hindsight, Kangaroo's a genius of the highest caliber. instead of preparing knight ge2, he just played it because his opponent's not going to take the free pawn anyway. So well done, or something. Yeah. And so on. Okay. I mean, bishop d3 is legal. There's nothing wrong with bishop d3. Yeah. Okay. So then white played knight f4. That's legal. Can't argue with that. And black was afraid white was going to dominate d5. So black played e6. That's reasonable. Bishop e2 is reasonable. Put it in h. I agree. Rook to d1 is good. Okay. Black doesn't want to give the file away, so he traded rooks. And this is just a position where black is trying to draw because he's down a pawn, and his compensation is the two bishops. But obviously, black would like to have more pieces on the board. And the analogy that I make, see, a lot of teachers just say trade when you're ahead, which I don't agree with. But the analogy that I make is, if you're a little kid and you have $1 and your friend has $0, that's because your friend donated to my stream and you didn't. That's why. So now the person with $1 has a lot more money than the person with $0. Now, to an adult, it doesn't seem like $1 is more than 0. You just figure they're both don't have a lot of money. But to a kid, I have $1 and you don't. Bam, gotcha, bitch. So, however, if you have $10 billion and your friend has $10 billion $1, that's nobody knows the difference between that. So when you have lots of pieces on the board and lots of interesting ideas, a pawn doesn't matter as much. But if you're trading all the pieces off and you don't have anything to do, well, the guy who has an extra pawn's off a pawn. So that's why it would have been better for C.L. Smith to not play rook d8 check, knight d4 check, and just trade everything off. Okay, but, it's check. So for players of that level, they like to put their opponent in check. That's, and that's not something that matters. But for some reason, people, they like it a lot. They like to put their opponent in check. They can't help it. I don't know. Okay. And then, those players don't become grandmasters. And often we refer to them as like Lawrence Trent. Yeah. Okay. So black played knight d7. That's an excellent move. Unleashing the latent potential of the bishop, not the actualized potential. So that's good. Okay. It's a juicer move. That's correct. Yeah. Let's see. What else happened? C.L. Smith's a great player. The King's Arena. The King's Arena. Wow, I like that. Not the Arena Kings, but the King's Arena. That's like the movie The Lord of War, not the Warlord. Yeah, that's good. Good. Okay. Yeah. All right, so knight d3 was played. Always retreat. I like knight d3. Okay, put it in h. Can't argue with that. Advancing on the side where he has the majority, just like Capablanca. Okay, knight e5, trading more pieces. I'm not a huge fan of trading pieces since, white's up a pawn. White continued advancing his pawn. That's correct. Very good. Knight c4. That's legal. And white played b5, which is a very strange move. The most obvious move is king b3. Then I could play knight to d2 check. So then I would think knight e3 is annoying and knight a3 is annoying. So it's very difficult for me here to figure out what to do. This is a very tough position. Yeah. Also, I'm having deja vu here. Like, this is looking very familiar to me. So either I've seen the game before, we've analyzed the game before, or I'm insane. Or all three. Somehow it looks familiar. I don't know why it looks familiar. Yeah. Interesting. It's Karen. Go Karen. Okay. So, so The engine right now is saying A4 is the right move, but I don't understand. Okay, I understand now that the knight wins the bishop after king d2. The knight's trapped. That's crazy. Debugger to be subscribed. Thank you. So basically, black has all these tricks that win a piece, but then the knight gets trapped. So the engine says white's doing great. Okay, so you played b5, which seems to not lose material. And knight e3 check seems very reasonable. King to b3. And that's exactly what happened, is black tried to win a piece, but it didn't work. So actually, black's next move is quite bad. Since white's going to play c6, and black shouldn't let white play c6, black should take on c5 here, and the engine says black has very good drawing chances, because like this is a threat, this is sort of a threat, this is a threat. So after BC, the engine actually says it's equal. It says black got enough counterplay with, his bishop and his knight attacking everything. But black decided he wanted to win a piece. He was hoping like king takes, knight takes, which by the way doesn't win a piece because after king d2, the knight's trapped. But white played an excellent Zwischenzug, and the reason he did that, there was a very good reason. Okay, and most chess coaches wouldn't explain this reason to their students. They would keep it to themselves. But you guys are donating pretty well today, so I can tell you the secret. The reason white played the excellent Zwischenzug in this position is he was the only person who could correctly pronounce Zwischenzug. That's why. Okay, so if I was white, I would just take the bishop on c3 because I don't pronounce Zwischenzug correctly, right? Or I would learn how to say intermezzo and I would play the Zwischenzug, but I would call it intermezzo. Yeah, Kangaroo agrees. Kangaroo's like excellent explanation. That's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good job, Dusty Lupus. Yeah. Okay. So instead of taking the bishop, white played c6, which is an excellent move. Obviously, if white takes this, white wins immediately because he's going to queen. So black has some issues here. Black's bishop is attacked. Black's other bishop is attacked. And if black sacrifices this bishop and I take back, that pawn's hard to stop. And by hard to stop, I mean you can't stop it. So he played bishop c8, which is forced. And now, if black plays, knight takes d1, which looks like it wins a piece, then king to d2, and the knight on d1 is trapped. Now, one of the reasons lower-rated players are lower-rated than higher-rated players, one of the reasons is when you analyze tactical variations that involve captures, and you make an error in your calculation, that can cost you the game irrespective of how you play the rest of the game. However, if you make other mistakes that are strategical in nature and a grandmaster or an engine would say, oh, that's not the right plan, you went from equal to worse, or you went from better to equal, you did things wrong, and you lost your advantage. That doesn't necessarily cost you the game, and by playing reasonably well the rest of the game, you can still win. So in this position, when white played c5, this is what we call a critical position. After king b3, this is a critical position. Recognizing what positions are critical is a big difference between higher rated and lower rated players. And what a lot of lower rated players ask me and other people, they ask, a lot of people are saying, they ask, how much time should I use, per move or per game or, whatever. And I give them my standard answer. However, in chess, you don't just play 30 seconds a move or 5 seconds a move. That could be your average based on the time control, but that's not how you do it. You don't think 4 seconds and then make a move and then think 4 seconds and then make a move. If somebody's doing that, it's likely that they're using an engine and it's moving every 4 seconds. But if you're a human, some moves are easier to play because you know the position, or you're making the only recapture, otherwise you're dead lost, or you have forced mate, or you're promoting, or you're forking, or something. And you're just making relatively obvious moves. And in this position, when black played bishop takes c5, bishop takes c3, he also had the option to take this, and to take this. And whichever decision he makes, the game is drastically different than if he made another decision. However, in most positions, if you make a random move that's not a tactic, it's just a random move, that's not necessarily going to give you a much different position than another random move. In fact, they could transpose. So here, if I had the black pieces, I would think it's very important to play the right move here, because maybe one move wins and one move draws and one move loses. The engine says this move draws with correct play and the other moves lose. It doesn't have to be that way, but when there's 4 different captures, it's likely something funny's happening. And once you've decided on this move, it's actually very easy to miss the move c6. Now, if I had the black pieces and I was intending on taking on g2, which is what he did, he took on g2, I don't understand why I would preface it with that. Like, the knight doesn't really have a good square, and this bishop is great. However, if I was black and I was intending on taking this because it's defending the bishop, and then taking the bishop, then that would be why I would play bishop takes c3. However, that doesn't work, because after king d2, the knight's trapped. So in my opinion, and I don't know because he's streaming now, I can't ask him. In my opinion, when black played bishop takes c3, he thought he was winning a piece. Then he realized a couple moves later, oh, if I take the bishop, he plays king d2 and my knight's trapped. So he's like, okay, I guess I'll take on g2 then and get my pawn back. Then black's knight's trapped on g2. So bishop takes c3 was not well thought out. Obviously, it's a 15-minute game, so I'm not going to be too harsh on the players, but I'll be harsh on black because he didn't donate this game. Okay, so instead of taking the bishop and getting his knight trapped, he took a pawn so he could equalize the material situation. But obviously, this is the greatest passed pawn ever. The bishop can't move. The knight can barely move. My king is further advanced than yours. White's completely winning here. Okay, and the best move is king to d4. Okay, Nigel Short-esque, or he could go in here and mate him with his king. Okay, but he played knight e5, which is okay, also winning. King g7 was played. Now king d4. Never play f6. And by the way, the engine thinks f6 is terrible, by the way. And here, white, this is a very bad move. White should definitely play knight to c4 because white wants to play knight to d6. And imagining where you want your pieces to go is very important. If you play knight d6 by cheating, or knight e7, the bishop is trapped and the game is over. Knight e7 is impossible. Knight d6 is easy. Knight c4 to d6. And the only way for black to escape with his bishop is to play e5 check, and then white's king can go to d5 and he can win even easier. However, even if the bishop can escape to h3 or e6, white still wins a piece with c6, c7, c8. So knight here is winning immediately. The engine says +5. 200 senzadu's, kangaroo. Kangaroo is like, no, we were in time trouble. Leave me alone. Yeah. Okay. So he played knight to d7. And now actually the engine says white's maybe not even winning anymore. And black has to hasten and play the move king f7. He wants to play king f7, take the knight, and then play king e7. And after king f7, the engine says white's ahead like 1.2, but after knight c4, white's ahead like 5.8. So, okay, so he didn't do that. He played knight f4. And again, the players don't have a lot of time. White has the very nice move e5, which basically kills this bishop forever. Black wants to play e5, and then his knight can come to e6, or if the knight moves, his bishop can escape. And after e5, black is really jammed in there. Black can't move anything. But he played king e3, and then e5 was played. Bishop b3 is an excellent move, keeping the knight out of e6. g5, a4, knight to g6, letting the bishop come to e6, and he did. Very nice. Transferring the bishop to this diagonal so we can queen our c-pawn. So actually knight g6 was a mistake for that reason, but black was doing badly anyway. Okay, now, everything wins. Knight takes b6 is the easiest win. c7 is winning. Knight takes b6 is nice because if you take the bishop, I just recapture. And you can't take my knight because I'm queening. So that would win pretty handily. He played king e2. That's no longer winning anymore because now we can take this and move our king over, and the game should end in a draw. Okay, now once again, white's winning if he moves his knight. He played there. Bishop takes d7 draws, but he played this. Knight b8 is winning once again, pitting the knight to the bishop, but he played here. And in this position, black made a very, 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 very bad blunder after trading. It's very obvious if king takes pawn, king d5 wins for white. That's a very simple tactic. If you were doing like Puzzle Rush or Tactics Trainer, this would be like one of the first positions, and you would play king d5, and the puzzle would end. So you can't play king takes pawn. Instead, moving the knight anywhere, the engine says is a draw. Knight c5, knight f4, knight c7, and it says all zeros for every move. Now for me, if I'm black, knight c7 is the obvious move, keeping the king out. And then I can just play king d8, king e7 forever. So knight here, move my king back and forth, Papa John's. But the engine also says, this move also keeps the king out of d5, and so forth. Okay, so instead he blundered with king takes. As Kangaroo pointed out, it was time trouble. But obviously, when your opponent has a bishop on a white square, your goal isn't to put all of your pieces on the diagonal of the bishop. Frankly, that's terrible. Kangaroo found king d5, and the game ended quickly after this blunder, and black resigned. So a very suspicious game, which is what we expect on our stream. And this answers a question that was asked of me yesterday. Why does Hikaru win all of his games when he plays Title Tuesday and Arena Kings? Well, now you know why. $200 centidues, hooray! And obviously, the worst move of the game is in this position. Black played king takes d7. C.L. Smith is too good for that. No matter how much time you have on your clock, that's not good. There's good and there's no good. That's no good. 2,000 centidues. God damn. Direct the Kashba. Hooray. Go direct the Kashba. I deleted your game and your children's children. They're all deleted, direct the Kashba. 200 centidues, Kangaroo 55. Yeah. All right, good job. Well, I hope you enjoyed the stream today. Bye. Oh, wait, that was just the first game? Mother son of a... Okay, so direct the Kashba. Is your name Direct the Kashba? Is that your name? What? Same username. Let's see. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Let's see. I don't know what that says. No. Yeah, your game wasn't submitted. All the games that were submitted, I put there. Terrible. Boo, boo. Yeah, you guys are all the worst. I'm not sure how you did that. Oh, you did it like after the stream started? When did you do it? 8:08. You did it after the stream started because my moderators aren't good at turning off the channel while I'm streaming. But I guess you shouldn't do that. Yeah. All right. So if we get to your game, we'll look at it. But yeah, there were 3 games submitted after the stream started. Frankly, terrible on all of your parts. Yeah, basically, ballpark, frankly, ridiculous. Yeah. Anyway, you're all banned. Hirsch 3, 100 Sentadues. Also, in the games that were submitted in a timely manner, 3 of them weren't in the proper PGN format, including this game. And I had to actually type in the names myself. That 10 seconds of work, that's the most I've worked in like 4 years. Terrible. Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah. Okay, everything in the stream is going well, except I didn't insult Kangaroo and C.L. Smith enough. Damn. That was the only thing I did wrong. Yeah. All right, let's go to the next game. This is Tarnum J versus Robin, and there actually was cheating in this game, which Tarnum J didn't know about, but I actually contacted chess.com about it, and they're reviewing it, because I'm pretty sure Robin was getting help from Batman. Pretty sure. So I contacted them about that, and we'll see if that's allowed. All right, now, the queen trade probably wasn't good, but given the rating difference, I wanted to minimize the chance of losing. Ugh. Okay, now this says white is 1,700 and black is 2,000, but I don't know if this was on Lee Chess or chess.com. If it's Lee Chess, that means both players are beginners, but if it's chess.com, then they're advanced beginners, so that's even better. All right. Yeah, you don't take into account the ratings of you and your opponent when you try to decide what moves are good and bad. You just make the best moves you can find. You don't intentionally make bad moves because your opponent scares you. Now, even though I just said that, there's an exception. The exception is when you're playing me. When you're playing me, you should make lots of bad moves because good moves aren't allowed on my stream. So don't beat the streamer. I'm providing all the content. Yeah. Yeah, this game was really slow. There were so many seconds I couldn't do the math. Yeah. Okay, although you won the game, so I guess even if Batman was helping him. Now I got to tell you a funny story about Batman. When I was a kid, I'm watching Batman, the Adam West, Batman from the 60s. And Batman and Robin are standing around outside, and one of them says, oh my, we have to get to this place because, whatever. We have to hurry up and get to this place, but the Batmobile wasn't there, I don't know. And one of them said, we have to get there in 3 minutes, or, whatever, something really bad's going to happen. And then Robin said, it's so far away, there's no way we can make it in time. And Batman's response was, then we're going to have to break all known speed records to get there. There was a lot of talk before they started running. And then they just started running. Like they just started running down the street and they made it in time. Because I guess they broke all speed records. But yeah, I like the way there was 1 minute of conversation instead of getting to the, yeah. Yeah, wholly, frankly, ridiculous Batman. Yeah. That show was great, especially the episodes with Bruce Lee. All right. Go Ben is correct. All right, so Tarnum J is white. And what incarnation is this game? Okay, he played the English, and they played some Phi and Keto kind of variations. So if white plays D4, it's going to be a King's Indian, but white played D3, So it's still very Englishy. Some would say this is a reversed, Sicilian, because it looks, it looks like that. Yeah. Yeah, etc. Yeah. Okay, castles. Okay, A5's okay. He's trying to slow down B4. Okay, so it's legal. Now in this position, if white wants to play B4, white should preface that with A3. And white does want to play B4, so he should play A3, then B4. And then if black takes, white can recapture with the pawn. So the engine plays A3 here. You played B4 immediately, which is very suspicious because now you have an isolated pawn and you're giving away the C5 square. Now, if you remember the last game when I was denouncing Kangaroo and C.L. Smith for their tactical, sophomoric blunders that they made, then I said, those kind of mistakes can cost you the game no matter what you do. So when C.L. Smith played king takes d7 and Kangaroo played king d5, the strengths of the players didn't matter anymore. White's just always going to win. This is a strategical error, b4. So at the level of 99% of the viewers, that doesn't matter. Now, if some 2700, let's say 2675 to 2725, was playing Magnus, and Magnus was black, that could be the decisive mistake. It could be that Magnus just wins now because black has an advantage, and it's a long-term advantage because white has this isolated pawn. Could be if two engines were playing, black would usually win now. But at the level of the gawking rabble, it doesn't matter. So it's good that you know that b4 is a strategical error, but it's the kind of error you can make where you can still win the game because you and your opponent are, just wood pushers. You're just making legal moves. So, okay, so that's what happened. White did win the game, obviously, because that's the kind of error that, whatever. Okay, so knight c5 is correct. Very good, very good. And then knight d2 looks good. I can't argue with that. Okay, good move. And so what black wants to do is pretty soon play c6, which kills the bishop, making this less weak and stopping the white knight from hopping in. Okay, and he also wants to play knight fd7 because he's got two knights, one for each c5 square. Thanks, Grunge War. Good job. So, if white wants to play knight b3 or knight e4 and get rid of this nice knight, black can back it up. And maybe later black can play f5. So the engine plays either c6 or knight d7. Instead, black played a nonsensical move because that's what you guys do. It doesn't lose material, it just move makes no sense. Play bishop g4. Okay, giving away all of his advantage, and now the engine likes white because white has pressure on the b7 pawn, which black could easily attend to by playing c6 and or rook a7 and or queen c7, but instead he undefends his b pawn. Okay, and the bishop isn't doing anything on g4 except waiting to get attacked. So what white should do in this position is hammer this knight on c5. Okay, he should play knight to b3 and bishop to e3 and keep hitting this knight. And if the knight moves away, the b7 pawn is totally undefended. If the knight doesn't move away, white's going to, take the knight and maybe win a pawn. And if black takes on b3, white can straighten out his pawn structure, or he could probably just take back on b3 with the knight or the queen, and the b7 pawn's indefensible. So after knight b3, white has the advantage. Okay, he played h3, and it may sound like I'm kidding, but based on my explanation, it should be obvious that I'm not. Bishop c8 is clearly the best move. You got to defend that b7 pawn. That's white's only hope. And once the b7 pawn is solidly defended, black just has an advantage. But he played bishop e6, and white did get it right now after h3 and played knight to b3, and now white's fine, because now b7 is weak. So moving the bishop away from the b7 pawn just to get it kicked and undefend the b7 pawn is no good. Okay, knight fd7 is the correct move, so that's good. Bishop e3 is correct. Now the players are playing well. And now black sacrificed the exchange. And if I was a betting man, since black is rated 2,000, I'm guessing he didn't see bishop takes rook. I would be totally shocked if he saw it and intentionally sacked the exchange. If he told me that, I wouldn't believe him. Yeah. So the engine wants to play rook a7, which defends the b pawn and gets out of this pin, but he just played b6, I think because he didn't see bishop takes rook. That's my guess. Now, white's not winning after bishop takes rook because black has compensation due to the fact that white played h3 earlier. White's h-pawn is weak. Black has this open file. This pawn's isolated. The rook is semi-trapped. But, the engine doesn't like b6. But I just don't think he saw bishop takes rook. So there you go. I would think a player I think a player rate 2,000 doesn't see anything. So if they see anything, they're probably using an engine. That would be my guess. Yeah, and I'm sure Finegold agrees. Spencer's here and Finegold's here. Do you think white saw bishop takes a8? The answer is fries. Yeah. I did enjoy C.L. Smith's game. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Sacrifice like that all the time. Right. Yeah, Komsky's correct. Yeah. Yeah, GM's too. Okay, so you took back. Robin did. That was the best move. Okay, now I would play king h2 because I want to put it in h. But I can see that he was afraid his rook would get trapped. So he played knight takes c5. That's fine. And black played b takes c5, which is fine. And now white's very lucky here that when I say he's lucky, I'm sure that Tarnum saw this move before he played knight takes c5, that he could play rook a4. If he doesn't play rook a4, he's in trouble because the rook's hanging and bishop takes h3 wins a pawn, threatens the rook, and threatens mate. So if white just makes a random rook move, then black would have a winning position. But rook a4 prevents bishop takes h3 because the queen is attacked. So he moved his queen. Okay, that's legal, sort of. g4, that's not even a move I would consider. I don't want to open my king up, unnecessarily. I could just play king h2, but the engine says it's okay. f5 is very natural. White played f3, which the engine likes because otherwise the g-pawn's hanging. And this pawn structure is very strange, but with the dark squared bishop, it turns out to be okay. Obviously, if I had a bishop here, that would be, sad and pedantic. But, bishop's on e3. So basically, white is up the exchange. And you could argue, if you'd like, that white actually has an extra pawn, even though white doesn't have an extra pawn. Because of this double pawn here, white has this passed a pawn. So, white should be winning now. White has an extra exchange. White has a passed pawn. There's not a lot of compensation. Okay. And he should have interpolated bishop h3. No, that's obviously wrong. Yeah, you have to donate now, Finegold, with your terrible analysis. Okay, obviously you don't mean here. And then here, if you play bishop h3, I just play some knight to e4, right? Yeah. Yeah, terrible. Frankly, ballpark frankly. And then I guess you can play f5, rook a4, queen b7, rook e1. And this is very bad for black, but maybe this is better than the game. The engine actually says this is better for white than the game. I don't know if I agree with that, but the engine's better than me. Man, the engine really likes white here. I guess I'm still up the exchange, so, okay. All right, but anyway, now, this is a mistake that I've been making my whole life, okay? And that's talking to you guys in the chat and reading the chat. Oh, wait, that's not the mistake. That's another mistake. The mistake that I've been making my whole life is I look at my position and I think to myself, frankly, terrible, which is what I would do if I was black here. And when I decide my position's bad, I can either go into a shell, okay? I could go to a sit-go, I could go to a QT, but I could go into a shell. And when I go into a shell, one time I got robbed when I went into a shell. It was in a bad neighborhood, and they conked me on the head at the shell. Now you know what it's like when God tells a joke. Okay, but anyway, you could go into a shell and just chill, maybe turn on Netflix, and hope that you win later because your opponent's not very good. You know, maybe they'll make a blunder in the next 30 moves. Or you can do what Robin did and go, I'm losing, so it's time to go crazy like Fox News. So let's take that crazy woman who has the serial killer name, Marjorie Anna Taylor Joy or something, whatever her name is. Okay, the congresswoman, she could just go into a shell and not be in the spotlight and not talk to the press and not do anything and hide and wait for some other scandal. Some other scandal will happen in a week and they'll forget about her. Or she could be crazy like Fox News and go on Fox News and then say, "Rawr, I'm the greatest," and, you know, Cheney's no good and so forth. Okay, yeah. Anyway, I mean, I made this great joke with Anna Taylor-Joy and nobody, you guys are terrible. Man, I can't believe, you know, I need a better audience. Michael V. Gold subscribed. That joke was gold, Jerry, gold. Okay, you're correct, Finegold. He would have missed the mate on G2. I didn't realize that. Okay, so the mistake that I've been making my whole life is I think I'm dead lost in some slow tournament, so then I go crazy trying to confuse my opponent and I lose quicker. Okay, and the engine in this position just plays really boring for black and hopes that white makes a mistake later. But since white knew that he was losing, he played h5 and he figured he would make the game more complicated, and the engine thinks that that hastens black's demise. Okay, now in this position, white decided to sacrifice a pawn to trade queens, and, you know, that's not the engine decision, but he's trying to make a practical decision. Yeah. 200 centidues from Finegold. Yeah, exactly. Too legit to quit. Tournament is correct. Okay, so the engine says, like, take this pawn and then open the G file, probably for white's rook. You know, like king h2, rook g1. Okay, now white did something very interesting. Knight d5, sacrificing a pawn. Obviously, knight e7 check is annoying. And so black took the pawn. And now that black took the pawn, white can play queen b3 trading queens, which the engine doesn't do because the engine says it minimizes white's advantage. White's advantage is less than it was. And white did it because white was afraid his king might get exposed, then he wants the queens off the board. So in general, you know, you don't want to make moves where you're taking your winning advantage and you're intentionally giving away material for safety, unless you had a lot of material. You know, if you had a queen and you can, like, sacrifice a bishop and your opponent has zero counterplay, or not sacrifice a bishop and they have a ton of counterplay, I gave up a queen. So, okay. So white gave up a pawn, And now white's king is perfectly safe. White's probably still winning. So, okay. They traded on g4. Knight b6 is good. Rook a7 is good. Knight d5 is good. Bishop d2 is good. And white's probably winning here. White's up in exchange for a pawn, and white doesn't have any issues. Okay, e4 seems totally bananas to me. And again, that seems like the kind of move where black says, I'm losing, so I'm going to play the trickiest moves ever and hope my opponent blunders. But I mean, you're giving away material. Okay, so here white made a very bad move. He should take on e4 either way. Doesn't matter. He took on f5, and here black missed a pretty obvious Zwischenzug, and I could only assume that he's not German. So he actually did play the Zwischenzug eventually. He can play e3 now. And obviously after e3, white just can't move any of his pawns. So he should have just taken on e4 either way, and white should be winning. But now, after bishop d4 check, e3, now the game is actually not winning anymore. I mean, now black has the fantastic position here. Okay, bishop a5, which the engine doesn't like because the bishop is off sides. Okay, and black continued to go crazy here. He played the move c4, which is okay, but black's actually already better. Black can play rook takes f5 and use his 3 pieces to attack this king, which doesn't have a lot of defense. And the engine actually prefers black there, by quite a bit, I might add. And instead he played c4 because that attacks the rook. He's still playing for tricks. And white correctly played b takes c4. And now black played a nonsensical move. Obviously black has to take this, but he felt after cd he would just be worse, which is correct. After bishop takes cd, it's probably a draw, but white's better. But he played knight f4, which is a crazy move, letting white take on c7. So I don't know what that was all about. I mean, if I was black, I would take on e2 here because that pawn's my only hope. And then white is still much better, maybe winning. But he took on f5. And white played basically the best move of the game here. And this is something very important to understand activity and to understand in what positions and why rooks are better than minor pieces. In the opening and middle game, I wouldn't say a rook is better than a minor piece, but in the end game, I would say a rook is much better than a minor piece. And obviously, if a rook is better than something, the rook should be active. The rook on f1, frankly, is terrible, so he played the brilliant rook to b1, ignoring his bishop, because it's time to get those rooks active. Obviously, black can't take the bishop, because rook b8 is mate. Yeah, now this is a very dangerous position. Still, black should take on e2, and then after rook check, he can play rook f8. Then he can try to do something with his e-pawn later. But he played passively with knight e6. When you're down the exchange for nothing, you can't just defend. I mean, he's down the exchange at a pawn. So he has to play knight takes e2, and if he loses, he loses. If he doesn't lose, he has a pass pawn in the 6th rank. But now, he's just going to lose anyway. I mean, he's just down material now and he's defending. So knight e6 was a very poor decision. And after check, he pinned his knight. Also, I mean, so this is, black is trying not to get mated, but black's down material. 300 centidues. Hooray. Go, Shanghai check, and Karen, and so forth. Finegold, Vishwanathan, yeah. Okay, now he activated his bishop. Bishop b4, good. Bishop e5 checks, good, yeah. And now he did it again, d5. Black likes to play these tricky discovered attacks, okay? And white played the excellent rook takes f8 check. Rook takes f8. Always play bishop f8. Rook d7 is a nice move here because it threatens the rook, and it threatens rook takes d5. So rook d7 is the most accurate, but he took on f8, he took on c7, and then bishop c5, and this should be a very easy win for white because the e3 pawn's indefensible, and white's going to be 2 pawns up for nothing. And that's what happened. King g4. Yep, this is correct. Yeah, very good technique from white. And here black resigned or lost on time or both. But the engine says +7 now. White's going to play e4 next move, and black has nothing to do. Black's just completely lost. It's amazing how good the position is for white according to the engine. The engine says white is +10. And this engine's no good. So if the engine was good, it would say like mate in 27. 27's about right. I agree with that. So very nice. You beat a higher rated player, and the game was very up and down. Very suspicious. Yeah, good game. Yeah. F5 was not winning a bishop. No, after F5, black takes with check. That's a mistake that's common on the internet, is people don't see they're in check. So yeah, that would be a good trick, but tricks are for kids. You take with check and then shallow and pedantic. Yeah. All right. Yeah, the truth hurts. Let's see. Microphone's good. I sold my Cadillac for this microphone, so I don't know what you guys are talking about. Yeah, your tooth hurts? Man. Okay, so that was the best game I looked at today, except for the first game. So that was good. Those were the top 2 games. Okay, so next. So in this game, Bonarici is playing a Grandmaster. I don't know if it's a simul. I don't know what's happening. Let's see. Bonarici said, it was a 3-minute game. Okay, I don't know why they played a 3-minute game. Oh, this was in Arena Kings. Yeah, because he told me he played a GM in Arena Kings. So Bonarici's rating is 1900, and his opponent's 2709. So Bonarici wasn't the favorite. I'm not saying he didn't win, but he wasn't the favorite. Yeah. I think this was a blindfold simul, and the guy was spotting Bonarici a queen. No, that's not what happened. This was just straight up 3-minute. Straight cash. Yeah. No, 2 bishops, what else is Dmitry Komarov? Terrible. You guys certainly do notice the important stuff. You don't know if your queen's hanging or if you're in check, but you know if you can see my mic or not. Oh, snap. Let's see, what's happening? It's 9. No, 999. I should look at Kangaroo's game again because it's 9. Yeah. Back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Yeah. What do you mean? I got period to the left of me, period to the right of me, shattered and sundered, stormed at with Perrier. Me that had drank so well, shattered and sundered. So what are you talking about? That was the charge of the Perrier. Man. And you will know, my name is Alfred Lord Tennyson, when I quote the charge of the Light Brigade to you. Ah! Psh, psh, psh. All right. 9-3, alcohol. What? Soda stream. That's what she said. My doctor said, 2 Perriers, 1 for each of you. That's right. Sparkling water is correct, just like my personality. Very watery. Okay, so this is Bonarici's black. So we'll flip, Adelphia, etc. Blame it on the Perrier. Okay, so Bonarici has the black pieces. It's those fianchettos that are like double fianchettos. I definitely would play d4 here. Good. Ooh, b4, confusing the audience. Yeah, so here black should play e5, but he played bishop g4. And then after he played a3, the engine wants to play b5. That's a 3-minute game. He gives up the 2 bishops. Right. Now, it's obvious that e takes f3 is the right move, and we discussed that on the stream yesterday in a similar position against, who's the Australian guy? Jack, let's see, Jack Rabbit, Jack White, Jack of all trades. What's his name? Outback, Jack Rogers. Yeah, and the engine says that taking with the pawn is, best. He took with the bishop. You want to take with the pawn and play f4 and control all the center squares and so forth. Get the open e-file for the rook. Yeah. Okay, he played bishop takes, and that doesn't work. Actually, in this position, knight e5 is quite a good move, attacking this and knight takes c4. And the engine actually says black is perfectly fine. But he played e5, which is okay. Yeah, now after d3, white should be slightly better with his 2 bishops. Slightly better, just slightly. Put it in h, king h8. Always retreat. Okay, black's going to try to win on the king's side. White's going to win on the queen's side. Now in this position, after a4, now there's 2 possibilities. We'll give Bonarici the benefit of the doubt because I've already insulted people like 4 hours worth already. So I got to, cut back a little. This move undefends this pawn, but it's sort of defended anyway because of knight c5 attacking the queen and bishop. But that actually doesn't work because of queen a3 or queen b4. So I'm thinking both players, this is my opinion, I don't know. I think both players saw bishop takes, then one of the knights to c5, and the analysis ended. But actually, after queen a3, pinning the knight to the queen, white just wins a pawn. So the engine just plays this and says white's winning. So knight e6 is a tactical error, and he should just play knight c5. Okay. And then white didn't take the pawn, and then black let him take the pawn again. And this is why Nakamura wins every game, because other people just make mistakes every move. Once again, taking the pawn wins, but he played bishop a3, knight c5, queen c2. Yeah, and I mean, this happened in the previous game. So I don't know if Bonarici didn't see bishop takes rook or he sacrificed the exchange. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he sacrificed the exchange because you got to do something. Yeah. Let's see. I don't know. Yeah, a little bit of both. There you go. Yeah, probably Juicers is correct. All right, so the guy took the rook, and then he attacked the pin knight again. Yeah, so this is very good for white. Rook AE1's a little weird, but all right. Put it in H. Queen F6. Yeah, I mean, white's just up an exchange hand better here. Oh. I mean, black doesn't really have any counterplay to speak of. Yeah, Rook C8. Is that the most passive move you could find? Oh, snap. By the way, the answer is yes. It was the most passive move. Good technique. Good. That's what she said. And Bonarici resigned. All right, so that game, white outplayed back strategically. Black either blundered or sacrificed the exchange, I'm not sure. And then he just went down without any problem. So not Bonarici's best game. Actually, maybe that was Bonarici's best game. 1,000 centidues from Farty Party. And here he resigned because the engine announces mate already. And that's the weak engine. God damn. Mate in 14. Who would have thunk it? Yeah. Anyway, very good advance on the queen side. Very Yasser Seirawan-esque. So maybe that guy was Yasser Seirawan. Yeah. Well, we'll never know if he sacked the exchange or he blundered it. He might have thought, I sacked the exchange, the king is open, and I'll push all my pawns and mate him. because his bishop's not defending. But the guy just traded everything and the game was over. So that didn't happen. Yeah. Okay. Now we got Frosty. Frosty. Now, is this the same Frosty that lost to Karen today? I'm not saying that it is. I was just asking. Yeah. Yester's older than me, so he's been sleeping for a while. Well, he's been hibernating. It's the winter. Anybody? It is. Boo. All right. So we'll just skip over this game because why even look? Okay. So he played America's newest grandmaster, Hans, on Twitch. Okay. And I got a text from Hans earlier today, and he asked me, he said he got an offer to move to England to be part of the British team, and do I think he should take it? And I said, you are sort of like a British GM, so yeah. So I think Hans is going to move to England and become a British GM, and that way he won't have to try so hard. He can let his rating dip to like 2380 FIDE, 2370, and he'll fit right in with the other British GMs. Yeah. Choco, subscribe with Prime. Hooray. So it looks like America's lost another GM to another country, even though I made all of that up, but still. Okay, so Hans had white, and let me see why they were playing. Was it a lesson? Did he pay him? 3-0. The rating was mismatched. So maybe this was also in Arena Kings. I don't know. I had a couple of chances in the opening. I should have castled on move 9. And I should have played D takes E4 on move 18. So probably you made a mistake on move 27 too, based on that. I don't understand why C4 was good for white. C4 is explosive. I mean, isn't that obvious? Okay. Let's see. What does it say? Nice. Yeah, that's a good one. Trying to learn finally got a good one in. Every 10th or 11th text, it's a good one. Yeah. No, I don't have Discord. Sorry. Okay, so let's see. Hans playing from his secret illegal account. Okay, still good. Still theory. Put it in H. So the engine just says H3 is a bad move, and that now black has the advantage. And that's what he did. He took and played knight d4. Okay. Queen has to defend c2. And then he did castle. So I'm confused. I thought you said I should have castled on move 9. You did castle on move 9. B5, etc. Oh, you're saying in this position. Right. So in this position, the engine wants black to play b5. Let's see, then also knight h5 is a move, which is I would never think of. Because then if queen h5, you have knight c2 check. I wouldn't do that. b5, there, carry the 1. All right, yeah, b5 looks like a good move. Okay. Then after b5, knight c5, bc4, the knight moves away, we take this. Yeah, that's a nice knight on d4, I agree. Yeah, his play with h3 and knight a4, that wasn't good play from Hans. Okay. All right, so bishop b6 was played. And then Hans kicked out the knight. Good. Got to kick the knight out. And now he has the 2 bishops. Fatals. Yeah, now white's better. I agree. Okay, then he said on move 18 he made a mistake. Okay, so in this position, yeah, you should definitely take this, and play knight f6 and hit this weak pawn. Right, now in this position, with the pawn on f5 and the bishop here and the queen here and the rook here and the bishop here, if white's going to win, white's going to get a big attack against black's king. So frankly, if you take this and take this, you're not worried about getting checkmated because you're trading queens. Then you can play knight f6 and hit this weak e-pawn. Because after takes, the e4 pawn's weak. You attack it with the knight, The guy can't move it, can't protect it with a pawn, so he's got to use his rook or his bishop to protect his e-pawn. So this is just completely equal if you take this and play knight f6. But you play d4, so now you might get checkmated because his bishop's really good. You can't trade queens anymore. This pawn's not weak. It's defended by a pawn, etc. Mainly etc. Okay, so the engine wants to play b5 and then c4, which I wouldn't have thought of. I don't like that. Hans played a more human move. Knight f6 is okay. And then you said, I don't understand why c4 is good. Well, if black takes this, then these two pawns are weak. And after c4, white doesn't have any weak pawns, and white just has more space on both sides of the board, so black can't do very much. White can try to win this way, white can try to win this way, as in the Bonrici game, etc. So c4 is a good move there because it gets rid of black's counterplay, attacking the weak pawns. Now they're not weak because you can't attack them. So that makes sense. And he decided to play on the queen side for the moment. a7 is a very passive square for your knight. God damn. And then he attacked on the king side. The center's blocked, so he's attacking on the wings, which actually makes sense. You definitely don't want to play h6. You want to keep your pawns here, making it hard for him to attack. Now you're giving him a place to attack. h4, and now g5's coming fast. What's funny is you should play h5 here, and then if g5, you have knight g4. Because now he's gonna overrun you on the king side. And I overran you on the king side. Yeah, now you're just lost. Knight a7, god damn. No wonder Karen beat you. Okay, and then queen h5, he put it in h. That's good. You opened it up on the bubble up. Queen g4, he put it in h. And then he played king h1. Man, the truth hurts. And now it says draw agreed. Okay, so either you lost on time or you resigned. Obviously, knight e6 is the only move because you have to stop mate in 1. And then everything wins, but c5 wins the quickest because you're threatening takes and here and there's no defense. But yeah, that's not good. So you missed some opportunities, but it's a 3-minute game. So, at least you did better here than you did against Karen. So you can't really complain. Hooray. Yeah. In this position after knight e6, you mean? The engine says every move wins. But yeah, this wins the quickest. I don't know if you resigned or you lost on time or both. Yeah, the engine says queen takes d2 is best, queen takes d2, otherwise black gets mated. Right. But yeah, I mean, basically he overran you on the king side and you couldn't avoid getting mated. But that's why it would have been better to trade everything and then not get mated, because that was a good plan that he had, f4, f5, f6, f7, f8. So yeah, in this position, and we talked about this in a previous game, but I want to accentuate it a little more. Now, it's a 3-minute game, so you don't really have time to think, and thinking is not your strong suit based on what I've heard. But some positions, the decision you make, you can't change your mind. So, if you play rook d8 and you're like, oh man, my rook's better on the a file, then just go back to a file. If you play knight d6 and go, man, my knight should be on f6, then go back to and go to f6. Here, when you play d4, the center is going to be closed, especially when you let him play c4. Thanks for the 400 centidues. So if you take this and he takes, that's a totally different position than this. So in a slow game, making the decision to play d4 or de4 is a game-lasting decision. That's where you take extra time. And if you had taken this and traded queens, you're definitely not going to get checkmated like you did in the game. The queens are off the board, the e4 pawn is weak, the d file is open. But when the center's closed, so this is your last chance to open the center, you could take this. Okay, then your position's fine. Right, and now you're just in a lot of trouble because he can try this or he can try this, and you're just defending against both. You can't open the center. If he attacked on the wing when his pawn was still on c3, then you would open the center and you would play knight d4 and queen d3 and knight e4 and Papa John's. So once he gets to close the center, he can attack you on the wings freely, which happens a lot in my closed Benoni games, where the center is closed immediately and then we start playing on the wings, etc. Recommended by Paul McCartney. The wings. How do we know it's better for black to open the center than white? We don't know, but it was because he got mated. So in this position, white has more space on both wings. There's an f5 and e4, and there's two fourth rank pawns. Black's pawns are here. Black has more space in the center. The center's closed. On the wings, white has more space. So if white has more space on the wings, and white's playing b5, a4, g4, h4, g5, black has to counterattack in the center. The center's blocked. So that's bad for black. So in this position, you want to take this. This is a backward, weak d pawn. You can ask Farnsley 69. He'll agree. Or you could ask Kasparov, whichever is funnier. Yeah, and after c4, you're in trouble because you have disadvantages on both wings, space-wise, and the advantage in the center you have, which is a space advantage, the center's blocked. So you got nothing. Terrible. That's right, Finegold. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the knights are shallow and pedantic. Where are your knights going? Nowhere, that's where. No, but in this position, the pawn breaks recommended by Spencer Finegold, that's what's happening. White's moving his pawns up and black's not. Frankly, terrible. Yeah, knight a7's not, you can't do that. After b5, you want to play knight c5. So knight a7 has nothing to do with knight c5. So you either want to play knight here, here, and here, which is illegal because there's a pawn here, or knight b8, move the queen, knight d7, knight c5, Papa John's. Yeah, you can't play knight a7 and then the next 10 moves your pieces are sitting there. Terrible. Yeah, I've never been so mad. Queen h5 at the very end. Then queen g7 mate with advantage. So I don't like the joke today. I didn't understand it, so Karen and I were discussing it. Why are there so many baseball scouts in art museums these days? They're looking for good pictures. So Karen's like, I guess the old pictures from hundreds of... Like, what? That's not funny. Terrible. That's right. Pictures instead of pictures. Pictures sounds like pictures. All right, I guess that's the joke. Yeah, not good, not good. I'm not sure which is worse. Terrible. Yeah. Frankly, that joke's terrible and delicious. Okay, next game. Don't forget to donate $300, $400, $500 because it's worth it. Okay, now we have a game from the Whizzle. I think he was actually at Spencer's lecture tonight. This game would be great to look at because black makes very understandable moves and then black gets into trouble. It's very instructive because I calculated a beautiful combination. I'm already going to report this guy for cheating. I missed mate in 2, and it took 25 extra moves to win. Okay, then I won't report it for cheating. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. White's 2,050 and black's 2,140. But it was played on lead chess, so... Yeah. So, beginners. Let's see. Twitch ad for the January drop. What? 200 Senzadu's. Hooray, Plek Tremura. You're the best. What? I don't get it. Like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives. Oh, the sandwich. Okay. It was on two different lines, so I got confused. Yeah. Also, I thought it was spelled sandwich. Okay, so this was played on lead chess. So far the moves are all legal. That's pretty good. Okay, bishop c4 is, something. Wouldn't play d6. I would play knight c6. But all right. Still legal. Not too much cheating yet. A little cheating. Knight b4 is a very strange move. It doesn't lose. Okay, d3 is good. Bishop e7 is legal. e5 is good. Yeah, and you probably don't want to take the pawn because you're either going to activate the knight or he's going to take with the pawn and activate the bishop and open the f-file. We'd want to keep these pawns here, so yeah, probably black should just play knight d5. So this is a minor error, very minor. Knight e4 is a good move, good. Yeah, now knight b4 doesn't make a lot of sense. Always retreat. Bishop d7 is pretty passive. Rook b8 is pretty slow, but I understand it. Now he was worried about this, so he played king h8. Okay, that's reasonable. Rawr! Now he's threatening f7. Rawr! Yeah, that's tough. So he's already losing because everything is weak over here. Bishop e8, good. Bishop takes d5 is legal. It's not the best move, but it's legal. E takes d5. Now he put it in h. Knight takes h7, triple exclam. Possibly double exclam. All right, and the engine wants to play bishop h4, but it says that white's winning. But that begs the question, what if black just takes this, which he did. So that's good. Okay, knight f6 check. That's correct. And here, he blundered checkmate, and both sides proved they weren't cheating. He has to play bishop takes, and then white's just completely winning with forced checkmate. But he played this move, and white missed a very nice mate here, rook f5 to h5. And after rook f5, you could actually pre-move rook h5 mate. There's no defense to rook h5 mate. So very good. Both players missed that. If he correctly took with the bishop, he's also completely lost here. Pawn takes, runs into the same mate. Queen takes g7 is the threat. Rook g8 defending the mate just gets mated, over here. Check, checkmate. There's probably a quicker mate. And then g6 gets mated, the same way we just saw. So queen takes f6 is the engine move. Rook takes f6, and it says white's up 12. So white's winning in any case, but he took this way, and white has mate in 2, but instead he played queen h4, which is also a forced checkmate, because he can play the same checkmate now. He can play this and this and this. But he checked, and this is also winning. He could also play rook f3 here, or rook f5 with all kinds of checkmates coming. These double pawns, block all of black's pieces from defending. So we can saunter over here and so forth. But he took that, which is also winning. And now white's down a piece, but he has too much attack. So he still has a winning position. These moves are all correct. Yeah, and white's still winning. So it takes the a-pawn, doesn't seem too important, the a-pawn. Bishop f4 is good. Queen g5 is winning. All right, and white's just crushing black. Okay, and black resigned. So black got totally checkmated that game, but black played very slowly on the queen side. Knight b4, knight back to c6, rook to b8, a6, bishop d7, bishop e8, not worrying about white's attack, and then white sacrificed on h7 and was winning. So nice game by white. He could have won earlier, obviously, but, he made the guy suffer. And I think the start of it was like knight b4 doesn't make any sense. That's a strange move. And here, you don't want to take this because you're opening up the f file and this diagonal. You want white's pawn to stay there so he can't attack, through there. The d pawn's better than the f pawn. So that trade helps. And then knight e4 is like the star move of the game because these knights are superfluous based on the teachings of Mark Dvoretsky, RIP. And then, okay, black just played very passively. And sometimes when the guy has a mating attack and you don't defend properly, you can lose pretty badly. Right, now if you remember yesterday, the game that I played against the 2000 player in the Queen's Gambit, well, it was a Nimzo, but it looked like a Queen's Gambit, where I played unsoundly on the king's side in an opposite side castling game, and the engine liked my opponent's position, but then my opponent didn't defend well, so he ended up like black this game. Right, his defense was bad, and the final position looked like this. If he had defended properly, then he would have had a winning position. But if you don't defend properly, then the guy's all over you like, some Nakamura joke. I don't know what it is. Insert joke here. Yeah. When did black go awry? I think when he went to the bakery and they were out of pumpernickel, but he wanted something similar. And then when he got home, he was really tired, but his wife said, go to bed. And I think he misheard her. So I think that's when he went awry. Pretty sure that's what happened. But thanks for the question. All right, don't forget, the trains and stuff. Yeah, Rook F5 would have won more quickly, but you were always winning. So, c'est pas différence. Yeah, bad babysitting, that's right. Yeah. That's because, she didn't realize what a great wheelbarrow she had. That was a quality barrow. That's probably why the babysitting was bad. Yeah, you guys got to donate because we're going to the casino tomorrow and we have to donate to them. So, and then the casino will pay taxes and then you'll get it back. I don't know. And so forth. Yeah. Let's see. Wonder Woman, etc. Mainly, etc. Are you going to play any craps? Best casino game. Very suspicious. How could a game called Craps be good? Yeah. It is the loudest game, that's for sure. Let's see. Do you know Min Lee? And if you do, what do you think about him? I've heard of him. There's a chess player, Min Lee, and there's definitely a poker player, Min Lee. You mean the chess player. Yeah, etc. Slots is the loudest game. No, slots isn't louder than craps when people are loud. When you hear people making a lot of noise, it's craps. The slots is just the slot machines making noise. Yeah. Yeah, last time I played craps, Karen was with me, and I said, I'm going to bet on a hard 8. And Karen said, I'll bet anything against a hard 8. And I said, no, we're talking about craps. And she said, oh. So it was a miscommunication. But anyway, that's what happened. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Terrible. Requires too much of a bankroll to play correctly. That's funny. Good. Your advice in the chats, all you guys about casino games, is very similar to your chess advice, except your casino advice is worse. Yeah. You should probably ban yourself. That would be the best. Etc. Went to Maryland once. Man, it's true. Let's see, the Taylor opening. What? Sometimes Joe Bava plays it. Nothing is worse than your chess advice. Touche. All right. Yeah, hopefully none of you ever go to a casino based on what you're writing. Terrible. Yeah. It's not easy, but you guys, yeah, that's how you spell Jobava. Yeah. He learned chess from his mother. She was also a good chess player, Joe Mama. Yeah. Not as well known as Jobava. Okay, this is Farty Party. He's a frequent donor to the stream. Let's see what he said. This was a 15-minute game on Chess 24. People play chess on Chess 24? I was black. I subtracted several hundred rating points from the ratings. I had a finger slip on move 7 with King H7. Then I lost my queen, and then I won anyway because, that's how this, the truth hurts, basically. I thought Chess 24, you just, go and watch top-level events, then you leave. People actually play there? God damn. Hardcastle with the hard advice. Yeah. When playing roulette, you need to do this. Man, no wonder I beat you guys at chess every game. Let's see. Magnus plays on Chess 24. Lose your money slowly. I mouse slip every move. Finger slip joke. Etc. All right, let's get the train started. We can't analyze games without a train. I have to do some housekeeping anyway. Let's see here. Yeah, there we go. Jobava's the best, etc. The more jokes you make, the more you're banned, and your children's children. I'm still waiting. Could get another San Pellegrino. There we go. Follow Dirk subscribed. Good. Let's see. Roulette is fun. Oh, terrible. Frankly, ridiculous. All right. Back to whatever it is I was doing. Okay, so Farty Party said he finger slipped. Okay, so we have the Pierce modern bishop d3 is not very good. It weakens the d4 pawn. The bishop is hitting granite. It doesn't stop black from pinning the knight. So black's already doing fine. Okay, h6 is legal. And king h7 doesn't make any sense, but it doesn't lose. When the bishop leaves c1 in any opening where black fianchettos, it's important to try to play an early c5 and try to punish white for his indolence and his insolence. Because occasionally his indolence is inefficacious. It happens sometimes. Yeah, and if you can't bear the proud man's contumely, then why are you even playing chess? So after h6, black should play either g5 or c5. King here lining up with the bishop, that's the kind of move you make and then say it was a finger slip. That's, 200 centidues. Thanks, Grungewort. Now, inefficacious is a perfectly cromulent word, although you didn't spell it very well. No wonder you don't know what it is. Yeah. Well, it could be that he was as impotent as a Nevada boxing commissioner. It could be that. I don't know. I'm not saying Mr. Burns is incontinent. Incontinent. Do either of you know what incontinent means? That's not the point. Okay, so now white played very aggressive. E5. God damn. Okay, that's not a terrible move. It's just super aggressive since white hasn't activated his pieces yet. Okay, he takes because they always do. Okay, knight g4 is a strange square for the knight since the knight is trapped on g4. The center square would be good, or knight here so you could go to f4. I would probably go to the center square. Knight g4, now you get in trouble. Okay, queen e2 is a good move. That defends this pawn, and now black's in trouble of losing his knight. So knight c6 is that's good. Rook d1 is good. You could also play bishop g3. But rook d1, he wanted to do some trickery. So queen e8 is the normal move. because you don't want to lose your queen. But he decided to lose his queen anyway because he gets a lot of material for it. The engine likes white, but, it's somewhat tricky, I guess. Something. All right. So the engine likes white, but, there's a lot of action. I got a threat, something. Okay, knight c3 is legal. The engine wants to play c3 because it wants to control the d4 square after bishop g4, which is what happened. So I understand playing knight c3 because you want to develop your pieces. Now knight d4 could be annoying. And so he unpinned his knight, but that's actually a blunder, and now actually black is winning. So the engine wants to play bishop g3 here because you can see there's some attack going on. Whoa, that was, I clicked the wrong thing. So queen c4 is a blunder, and now after bishop takes f3, not only is the bishop attacked, it's defended by the queen, but rook d4 would win the bishop on h4. So queen c4 is the losing move. So it's funny, like right after white got a winning position, 2 moves later he was lost. Shocking and appalling. So yeah, queen c4 just a losing move. And then instead of playing rook d4 winning a piece, black played another move that wins. Knight e5 also wins a piece. Because if you defend this with a queen by playing like queen a4, queen b4, queen e4, then when I take it, if you take back, knight takes f3 check wins the queen. So in this position, black actually has 2 winning moves. He played the one that I wouldn't have played. I would have gone here. That's because I probably wouldn't have seen that won. Okay, and it looks like, yeah, so now he pins the knight. So now black has to go through hoops to win. Hoops, there it is. So f5 is the only winning move. And what I'm guessing is black didn't see rook d4 won, and black didn't see that this pins the knight. After f5, if we maintain the pin, we have rook here attacking the queen and the pawn. Then knight takes pawn, wins the bishop. So black is still winning. So f5 still wins, but black played rook to d2. And now white can win with bishop takes e7. The bishop's been almost on pre for a while, and that's what he played. Good. Knight takes f3 check. You should definitely take this. The idea is the queen's defending the bishop, so he wants to make a trade. That trade helps white because then it's white's turn to move, and this knight's very aggressive, and rook e8 is coming. So white should definitely take that, but he played king g2. And now rook e8, and the game's about equal, it says. King takes f3. God damn. Wouldn't put my king up there. All right, very interesting position. It's triple-edged. White doesn't care for his rook here. He just keeps moving these 3 pieces. All right. He doubles up on the bubble up. That's what I would do. The engine preferred rook takes, but queen takes. That loses to knight e5 check, but this is also reasonable. Knight d3. Wow, f4. God damn, that's a scary move. So it's funny, a move that would be very hard for anybody to play is winning, knight c5, because you want to play knight e4 check. Get the knight involved in attacking the king. I could see somebody not seeing knight c5, though. Instead, he gave a check, took this. The engine says queen a4 is the only move to win. Barely winning. King e4. God damn. Okay, that's a really bad blunder. Now everything wins for him. Knight c5. And it looks like it's just checkmate soon. So it says every move wins here for black because the king's getting mated. But the quickest win is h5. The king is actually checkmated here, except the king can escape to g4. So after h5, we're threatening rook h3 mate. So after h5, the engine says black is completely winning. There's no defense to the attack. But he checked him and let his king walk up, and now he's still winning if he plays rook to d3, which he did. Knight to c7 is a crazy move, moving his pieces away from his king. Check. Rook h3 is the best move. Shocking. I guess rook h5 is checkmate. That's a pretty big threat. So he played knight e6, which is the only move. Then if rook h3, I have knight g5. just to not get checkmated. Check, knight g7 check, rook e2 check, king d5. Now in the game, it says rook c3, and then that's it. The engine says black is up like +3. I don't know if white lost on time or white resigned here. I don't know. White's completely lost. Black has a material advantage, and white's king is terrible. And black has this great defensive setup where the knight's blocking the queen, so there's no checks. Anyway, that game was very suspicious, but white played a lot more suspiciously, not worrying about his king safety. Terrible. Got to worry about your king safety. White lost on time. Yeah, you're still winning here. Yeah. Man, Nightbot's going crazy over there. Good job, Nightbot. Yeah. Terrible. Right, that was a very difficult game to play accurately, and it was very exciting. Lots of attack, lots of sacrifices, some blunders, and then white lost on time, but in the final position, he's completely losing. The king is really badly placed. Okay, this is Ninja. Ninja donated some money earlier in the stream. Go Ninja. I don't have much. This is my favorite game I've played online. And he doesn't say what the ratings of the players are. Oh, here it is. White's rated 492 and black's rated 585. But it's chess.com, so that's like 2,000 on, Lichess. Or maybe it's 2,300 on Lichess. That's right. It's a 2,000 point difference. Yeah. Etc. 2,500 maybe. Yeah. Etc. Don't forget about the trains. You guys are forgetting. Also, everybody whose game I looked at, you're required by Georgia state law to donate $500 per move. Not for the game, for each move. So you better win quick. You got to do some scholars mates, some fools mates. You got to agree to a draw really early. Then you save money that way. Yeah. Yeah, LaCroix's good. Go Michigan. Did you analyze my game with Karen? Boo, boo. It wasn't Iraq. It was Iraq. Obama. Yeah. Okay, so Ninja's white. Bishop d3, very suspicious. Don't move bishops in front of center pawns. Otherwise, the game's pretty good. Pretty good. I have no complaints. Now, bishop f4, I think, loses a piece because he can play d5. Yeah, the engine says d5 wins a piece. In this position, d5 doesn't win a piece because I can take en passant. But now I can't take en passant, so d5 wins a piece. But he played rook b8, which isn't as good. And then, okay, he took on e5, winning a pawn. Okay, now white can take the knight and then take the pawn on e5, but white sacrificed a piece. Okay, he didn't blunder a piece. Well, maybe. So if you want to win this pawn, since the pawn's defended by the knight, bishop takes knight check, and then take the pawn. But you did this, so now black just took a piece. Also, in this position, black has to take with the knight. He actually blundered taking with the bishop. Now you're winning. You could take this knight with check, and then take the bishop. Material's equal, but you're forking the rooks. So actually, he blundered here when he took with the bishop. Then you re-blunder by taking his bishop. And now you're just down a piece and losing. Okay, he played f5, which is very dangerous. Like this king is here, he should get his knight out in castle. d4, god damn, confusing the audience. Now your opponent has a lot of things he can capture here, but he played knight g4, very suspicious. Queen b5 check, also suspicious. Rook d7 takes. So this is really funny. This would be like a really good puzzle for a grandmaster. Yay! The more you donate, the more money I have. Let's see. Eric Mary upgraded. Hooray! Thanks, Mary. Thanks, Hirsch3. Thanks, Yartreo. This is a really good puzzle for a grandmaster. So if Spencer and or Fen Finegold are online, Black has one move that wins here. Every other move loses. That's pretty funny. Yeah, one time I wanted to weigh 400 pounds because Karen was quite insistent. And I went to the health food store to get this like industrial size weight gainer protein thing. And I put it down and the guy looked at me and said, lucky for you, this stuff don't wake. Okay, queen takes d1 doesn't work because the rook on d7 is pinned. So I just take your queen and you resign. You want to play rook takes rook check, but it's illegal. Yeah. Yeah, this is why I asked Fen Finegold and Spencer to answer, because these answers are like your casino answers. You should play roulette, and here's how you play roulette. You should play craps. God damn. Gotta buy a casino. Yeah, Black has one winning move. I went to Hollywood Upstairs Medical College. Yeah, one move wins for Black, all other moves lose. So this is a good one for like there's two good players in the chat and they're not answering because it's hard, and then the gawking rabble is answering. Oh, god damn. I've never seen such bad moves. It's Mikey Slice, aka Mickey Slice, working at MGM. He puts the GM in MGM or something. If D-Lom 234 knew move notation, he'd be right. That's right. Just hang everything. Well, yeah, D-Lom 234 is right. A6. A6 wins. Black is winning. And what's funny is if you play Queen A4, then B5 is the only winning move. Yeah, you got to play A6. It's the counter threat. Yeah, and Black's winning. God damn. Yeah. Amazing. You said nothing. Okay, so anyway, the players are rated under 600. So, all right. So Queen E6 was played. Now White has two winning moves. Knight G5 and C takes B6. He played C6. Now after Rook C7, it's equal, which is hard to understand. He took on E4, losing all of his pieces. Now this is a very funny position that reminds me of the game Ben Finegold, Nick DeFermian, Salt Lake City, 1999. If you know the final move of that game, you can find the correct move here. Does anybody know the final move of Finegold DeFermian, Salt Lake City, 99? And if you don't, what's wrong with you? Ridiculous. Right, C7. C7 is the best move. C takes D7 also wins and was played. They both win, but C7 gets a slightly higher rank from the engine. Okay, so I'm going to get a new tab open, and I'm going to show you the Fermion final position. So you can see how it's the same. Looks like same. This was actually the only game that I won. Terrible. In that tournament. 7-round tournament. Come on, I want to copy the PGN. You're not letting me? Or I'm going to try some trick. Tricks are for kids. PGN. Let's see. They'll not overwrite this game. So we'll get a new board. Analysis, start, and then PGN. Let's see if this works. Hooray! Okay, so this is my game with Nick DeFermian. There's a FIDE master in Michigan who's also a medical doctor, and he gives people funny names. He takes famous players and gives them a funny nickname. My favorite is Nick DeFermian. That's my favorite funny nickname. The guy calls him Dick Dispermian. Okay, so in this position, I always sack the exchange. He can't take with the rook because I pushed my e-pawn. So he took with the king, and I played here, and he played king f6. And now you know what I did because we just talked about it in the previous game. Yeah. This is the 1999 U.S. Championship. Well, c7's not legal, but yeah, d7, not d2. Right, d7, that's what I did. Bam! Wow, the engine says knight e4 check gets a higher mark. This is only plus 19.5. This is plus 20.4. Now, Spencer will appreciate if king takes knight g3 check, and he can't take this because he loses both of his rooks. God damn. I'm not good enough to play knight e4 check. I never knew that. Anyway, I played d7, and since I'm like plus 25, he resigned. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. And so forth. Bishop f1 is correct. Yeah. All right, this is my game with Nick. Nickelodeon. Oh, that's Flipadelphia. Okay, so back to reality. c7 was the best, but c takes d7 is equally good. King d8. Okay, every move wins. This is one of them, threatening queen c8. Queen c6. Rook d2 is legal. Queen takes a7 wins pretty quickly. There's no defense to like queen b8, queen a, there's no defense. Queen takes a7, threatening queen b8. The game's over. Plus 27. But he played rook d2. Now black should play queen c7, defending the a-pawn. Now he took the a-pawn, but now you can, whoa, knight, ooh. That's not a good move. So this is the worst move in chess history, knight e5. Basically, any move is better, but white's winning. But now, white played the most checkmatey checkmate of all time. He took and made a queen. God damn. No wonder this is his favorite game ever. God damn. Now, I would still win with black because I would castle. Oh, wait, then queen takes f8 is mate. Damn. Very suspicious. Man, that's harsh. That's like quadruple checkmate plus tax. 2 queens, what else? Yeah. Take the queen to promote you a queen double mate. You know those checkmates that are like double mates? Yeah. Yeah, that was very Fox Newsworthy. Or was it Jeff Foxworth? Man, that was pretty exciting. Okay, we have to stop the game here because it's too exciting. All right. That guy cheated. Man, nobody cheated that game. God damn. I did a game report of the game, and this has never happened, but both players played negative %. I was pretty surprised. I didn't know you could play less than the 0, but that's what it said. So it was still a good game. Yeah. Still, it was, at the end, yeah, Mady McMaderson is correct. Yeah. All right, 593 viewers to do. You newbies got to learn sarcasm. Terrible. Also, you need a spelling contest. That would also help. Yeah. I know. Let's have a spelling contest. And so forth. Let's see. Suspicious. That's correct. That's right. Even I can't understand most of what I say. Let's see. Who's texting me? That's a good one. The My Pillow CEO just texted me, and he said Black won this game. So, yeah. Yeah, me and the Black Pillow CEO were like, that, son. Wait, didn't they kick him out as the CEO? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Okay, so I guess Black won and so forth. All right. Hooray. Yeah, he won by a lot. That's right. Yeah. Etc. I see everything except combination to safe. Yeah. What do you mean by subscriber? I would never say subscriber. Yeah. New game is correct. All right. This is from one of our loyal viewers. Not too loyal. He's loyal, so he's not. He's KQLY Style 55. I was white. I didn't punish my opponent. I blundered all of my pieces. I'm suspicious. As a side note, my opponent was banned for cheating a few days later, but I don't think he cheated this game. White's 1461 and black is 1401, and it's a 15-minute plus 10-second increment. So there you go. Yeah. Went from 1200 to 1900 in 2 years. Very good. Thanks for the analysis. Yeah. No, that was good. You showed that guy. You checkmated him like a grandmaster. Okay, so let's look at this game. We got some kind of Sicilian. Who's texting me here? Oh, same text. Okay, bishop e3. That's one of the main lines. Grandmasters nowadays play either knight e5 or knight g4. e6 is also a move. Now we have the English attack. Usually scores well for white in praxis. Not in theory, but in praxis. g4. g5. It's the greatest game ever. Always play king b1. Okay, now white played the very risky f4, opening up this diagonal and weakening the pawn on e4. Normally, they play h4 and start pushing these pawns. This pawn stays here to thwart the bishop. So here you can either take on c6 or play a3 to make b4 less strong, or play h4. So f4 seems very risky to me. Yeah, because b4 attacks the knight. The knight's defending the e-pawn. Papa John's. Okay, now the engine prefers black. Black could also play knight takes d4, threatening the e-pawn. And then if you take with the queen to defend the e-pawn, rook c8 threatens c2, and the engine prefers black a little bit. But he played knight c5, also attacking this. White defended his pawn with knight g3. Rook b8 is pretty slow. Bishop g2. g6 pretty weakening. f5 giving away the e5 square, but starting to attack. The position's too complicated, so we can't analyze it. Typical Sicilian. Knight e5 is good. fe6 is legal. Knight takes surprises me, but the engine says it's okay. The engine likes white here, because black's king isn't very good. And now you stopped him from castling. That was good. Knight c4 is good. Queen d4 is considered bad because of e5. So the queen should just go somewhere else. So queen d4, and he did play e5, but now the engine says it's okay. It says like this is about equal. a5 is correct. And h4 allows bishop a6. So in this position, when black plays a5 from a6, it's clear to me that I have to worry about bishop a6. And if I don't think bishop a6 is good, well, then I'll play h4 and so forth. And the engine likes bishop a6, so you got your queen's, doesn't have a lot of squares. So after this bishop a6, you're actually in a lot of trouble here. You can't play queen d5 because knight takes wins all your pieces. Knight a3 check wins your queen. So the engine says you have to play queen b3. It's the only move. Although it still says you're losing. So h4 is the losing move. But even here, after knight c4, this is the critical position. It seems like queen d4 is just bad. And you might have to play some really passive move like queen e1 or queen c1 so bishop a6 doesn't happen. But seeing a5, bishop a6 in advance, even for a grandmaster, that's very hard. So in this position, it looks like white's defending everything, Then after a5, you're like, damn, bishop a6 is annoying. And there's just nothing you can do about it. Because your rook's on f1, your queen's defending your bishop. So you're just in trouble here. And h4 doesn't address the threat. You probably thought he was going to do this. And then you were like, no, what a world. What did I ever do? So that was really nice, a5, bishop a6. Chess is hard. And then he started taking everything. That wasn't very nice. He played a4 instead of castling. All right. So the game's interesting still, but good for black. Okay, and he castled. He took. Played bishop h3. King g7. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear to me that he cheated this game. Yeah, I mean, your opponent cheated this game. Yeah. Just so you know. Yeah, all his moves are the number one engine move. Let's see. Queen d4. Queen d4 is not an engine move. Did he stop cheating? Ridiculous. Is his engine better than mine? Queen d4 does win. Wow. Here he has checkmate, and he played queen takes queen, proving he's not cheating. Yeah. I mean, your opponent's 1,400, so I don't know. It seems like they cheated a little that game. A little bit. Played too good. Yeah. Yeah, he didn't cheat the whole game. He did a good job cheating. Yeah. But yeah, he played better than 1,400, but he didn't play precisely. But he did play precisely when it mattered. When it didn't matter, he didn't. Like, I mean, e5 and a5 and bishop a6, and when he castled it, I mean, all those moves were the number one engine move. Very suspicious. Yeah. All right, so you probably lost to a cheater, but that was a really exciting game. But yeah, a5, bishop a6 is pretty crushing. Yeah. Anyway, you said your opponent was banned and his children's children, so that's good. Birdonation subscribed. Hooray. Yeah. Cheater confirmed. Yeah. Anyway, win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat. All right, and this will be the last game I look at because, I'm tired. We've been going over 2 hours. We're not even getting a train going. I've analyzed 10 games. I got to get up at 7 in the morning and drive for 3 hours. So we'll cut it short today. And then I can go home and sleep like a grandmaster. And then I get a text. Karen says, and I can sleep with a grandmaster. Okay. All right. So you wrote something about this. What did you write? You wrote, Dear Ben, something. Didn't play great. Didn't play obvious wins like d5. Found a nice mate at the end I was proud of. 5-minute game. Played on Lee Chess, so we're both about 800 or something. They're both 1,600, but it was on Lee Chess, so truth hurts. Okay, so far they haven't made a lot of blunders. h6 is a silly move. White's probably winning already. Bishop b6 is a silly move. Yeah, White's probably already winning. Just winning. h3 is okay. I wouldn't play h3, but it's okay. Queen e7 is terrible because this could open up. So he should definitely castle. When the guy plays queen e7, you got to play e5 and open the e-file. He played rook e1, which is a little slow. Still winning, but e5 is, you got to get him quick. Well, bishop d7, you got to castle kingside. You got to get your king. You got to get your king out of here. Yeah, I mean, e5 is just immediately winning. I mean, the king and queen are lined up. There's nothing he can do. e5 is plus 3.5. a3? Come on. All right, long castle. b4 is good. a6 is suspicious. Knight d5 is good. If knight takes d5, e takes d5 wins a piece. So he moved his queen. And he's getting crushed here. Good. Good crushing. Not playing d5 winning a piece, as he noted in the comments to the game. 1,003 centidues. Thanks, Council of Rooks. You're the best. You're 3 centidues best than some other people. Okay, so instead of winning a piece, you played this, which also wins. So that's okay. Still winning. Your attack is too fast. Completely winning attack for white. Bishop A7 check. Wow. That move's actually a good move. I wouldn't even think of Bishop A7 check. Farty Party gifted 2 subs. Ace Deuce gifted 3 centidues. 3's bigger than 2. Come on, Farty Party. I mean, I would never consider Bishop A7 check, but it's the best move. That's the kind of move a cheater plays. Because that's, I'm not saying you're cheating because you obviously weren't, but I mean, that's way too good. Bishop A7 check. Okay, now the engine says Queen E3 check is mate in 5, followed by your rook sack. You played the rook sack first, which is also mate. And then here you didn't mate him. Queen E3 is immediate checkmate, threatening Queen A7 mate. So he has to play here. It's the only move that stops Queen A7 mate. And then you check and play Rook C7. And now you're threatening mate and mate, so it's mate. So Queen E3 would have been forced mate. You played here, which is also winning. Now you have forced mate again. And you played the forced mate until you didn't. Yeah. Now this is amazing mate that proves you're not cheating. This is really nice. This is a very good puzzle rush, puzzle battle, tactics trainer position. Like Nakamura and Ray Ross would solve it in 1 second, and you guys would be astounded. White has mate in 2 here, and instead he played mate in 4. But white has a very nice mate in 2 here. Beautiful. Mouse slip, that's funny. Bishop A7 just brings the black king towards white's pieces. Yeah, Rook B7 check, only legal move, checkmate. Very good. Yeah. Okay, but he played Rook A6 check, which is also going to be mate. If King C7, Rook C6 is mate. So you got to move it on up to the east side. And then mate. All right. Very nice game. That's a good last game. Yeah. No, actually, black shouldn't play King takes A7, although I would. Black can play King A8 and he's still losing. Rook takes A6 wins. And black's getting checkmated here. Black has no attack against white's king. White didn't sacrifice anything. White's a pawn up. So, I mean, black's getting mated and he's down material. So he's just completely losing. King, this is mate in 5 and this is mate in 10. And a lot of moves win here. B5 is winning. That's what I would play. Knight D4 is winning. Because if you take it, Queen D4 and Queen A7 mate. If you don't take it, he's going to be working on his knight moves. That's a funny move. But yeah, Bishop A7 check is actually the quickest mate. Both of these moves are mate in 11. We're just attacking the black king and there's no escape. Yeah. Frankly, you're a genius. Delicious. I mean, that was the greatest game I've seen since the previous game I looked at. So that was pretty good. I mean, after that game, I'm going to play roulette and craps because you guys are geniuses. Yeah. All right, let's go. We need 100 subs. That makes the stream profitable. Come on, She Jesus. Now, should I want She Jesus to show up and donate subs? Or do I need She Jesus tomorrow at the casino? One time at the casino, before you guys were born, a guy said to the table, do you know the difference between people who pray in church and people who pray in a casino? And we were like, what? And he said, people in the casino mean it. Nola Runner gifted a sub. Hooray. Grunge War gifted 200 centidues. Hooray. Etc. Okay, now I'll tell you a very long joke. If we get to level 3, then I'll have time to tell it. So we need 200 centidues in the next 25 seconds. Or we need a sub. Very long casino joke. Let's go, people. Best joke of the stream. Anybody? 200 centidues. Hooray. And then Jay Wolfen, like 9 centidues. Okay, this guy's at work. He's working at his desk. He has a 9-to-5 job. He's just slug. And he hears a voice. And the voice says, what's this voice? Quit your job, empty out your bank account, leave your wife, and fly to Vegas. And he's like, what? Quit your job, empty your bank account, leave your wife, fly to Vegas. So he does all of that. Tells his wife he's leaving her, empties the bank account, quits, flies to Vegas. Gets to Vegas in the airport, doesn't know what to do. The voice comes back. Go to the casino. He says, okay, which casino? He says, doesn't matter. Goes to a casino, doesn't know what to do. The voice comes back. Go to the roulette table. He's like, what? Go to the roulette table. Goes to the roulette table. Stands there, doesn't know what to do. The voice comes, says, put all of your money on 23. And he says, what? Put all of your money on 23. So he takes all the money that he took out of his life savings, puts it on 23. They roll the roulette wheel, 23, he wins. And he's like, wow, takes the money. The voice says, let it ride, put it all on 23 again. And he says, well, I just won. And the voice says, I'm the voice, do what I say. Okay, puts it all on 23. They spin the roulette wheel, 6. He can't believe it, it's 6. He stands there like, what do I do? And he hears the voice. The voice says, fuck! Let's go, hype train! Go, hype train! Papa John's. That is correct. The more you donate, the more jokes. Almost worth the 200 bits. It was worth like 190 bits. Terrible. Let's see. Donated $8,000. Yay, $300, $8,000. Good job. Hirsch 3 donated 200 cent to dues. Rockin' Jason 200 cent to dues. And Barnhorse 90 cent to dues. Hooray. It was worth at least 9 bits, Grungewort. 9! And so forth. That's right. That's roulette for you. Franklin 346 subscribed. Hooray! AMC McDonald said that wasn't funny. That was very serious. Yeah. SW1M Club, Swim Club says more jokes. Jokes and spaghetti, spaghetti. Hooray. Man, I had a really good joke for the guy who said his mom said he can't watch me anymore, but god damn. Then I would be a hero to all those lunatics in the bait shop, but and so forth. And so on. Go South Park, but stay there. Go lead chess, except for one thing. No, the hype train's dying at level 3. Boo, boo, boo. Terrible. Go Stuart Rachel's new book. Man, I should stop the stream during the train because that's funny. Not too funny. Jay Wolfen gave several centidues. Hooray. No, there's no Prime sub. Boo. You need Prime subs. Grungewort says, no, the train's dying. She, Jesus, I need you. Oh, who am I going to raid? That's a good question. I guess I have to raid him because he raided me yesterday. I raid you, you raid me. We're the rating family. Yeah. All right, nobody's donating, so I guess the train's going to die in 10 seconds. Thanks for watching, and I'll do this on Wednesdays and so forth. I'm not streaming tomorrow because I'm not here, so I'll see you guys on Friday in about 46 hours. Thanks for the 500 centidues. Hooray, thanks, Farty Party. You're the best, etc. And so forth. Okay, such mediocre support. Let's see, how do I spell? I watched The Simpsons a lot. I should be able to spell his name. That's probably right. Bam! Let's see. Okay, I did it right because it says something. Okay, and also don't forget,